these are fake news.
Okay.
You can't go by those fake news.
I quoted Donald Trump and then you said fake news. Interesting.
Yes, yeah.
Why will it take Bangladesh 18 months to have an election?
This is an uprising. Everything fell apart. Government left.
What do you say to people who say that you're going down a dangerous road when it comes to free speech in Bangladesh?
We are the freest press you can get. We are under attack every 124 hours a day.
Are you trying to say to Israel, we don't want our people going to your country?
We see it on the screen every day what is happening. How the children are dying and being bombed.
Do you believe that Hasina will ever be handed over by India to Bangladesh?
One of the specialty of India right now is fake news.
Do you think Donald Trump should have a Nobel Peace Prize? Last year in Bangladesh, what started as a student-led protest against the government's jobs quota system quickly and remarkably turned into the ousting of the country's authoritarian Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who fled to India. This, of course, did not come without a price. The UN estimates that nearly 1,400 people were killed during Hasina's brutal and ultimately failed military crackdown on the protests. Since Hasina's downfall, the country has been led by Nobel Peace Prize-winning economist Muhammad Yunus, who is serving as interim leader or chief advisor until a new government is elected in February. And while the country is no longer seeing military crackdowns, there are new challenges, including increasing violence and crime. Earlier in New York, on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly, I sat down with Bangladesh's interim leader, Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus. Muhammad Yunus, Chief Advisor to Bangladesh, thank you so much for joining me on Zeteo.
Thank you for having me.
A lot has happened since you and I last spoke. I think we last spoke in 2017. You were a private citizen back then, just your regular Nobel Peace Prize-winning economist, but you weren't running a country. A little over a year ago, student protesters in Bangladesh toppled the Awami League government, with Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina fleeing the country. 2 decades, she was a de facto dictator in your country, carried out multiple human rights abuses. A lot of people were pleased to see the back of her. What was your initial reaction to the toppling of her government? What was your memory of that day, that night? What did you feel that night? Fear, hope, shock?
Excitement, yes, indeed. Finally, it happened. That's fantastic news.
Did you think it would happen?
No, it was out of the blue. There was a demonstration going on. That's what you see in Bangladesh. But not something like that, that she'll be fleeing the country. The situation was so bad. At that time, I didn't know the details of what happened before she left. But the final news that she left, that was exciting.
And what has the reaction been from the Bangladeshi people over the last year? You just marked 1 year since the revolution, just had the first anniversary. What is the mood in the country right now? Is it still optimism, excitement, hope, or is it frustration at the slow pace of change?
All of it, all mixed. Frustrations as well as excitement of something happening. Frustrations because people like to complain as usual. It's a common thing. They want more. Expectation level is so high. They want everything to be done right now, not tomorrow. So if it is not happening today, you're not good. Those kind of things. But there's a good direction. It's not negative direction. It's just a high level of expectation.
And after Hasina fled, the student protesters chose you to lead Bangladesh's interim government. Were you surprised by that decision? And why do you think they wanted you, a non-politician, an economist, respectfully a man in his 80s? Why did they pick you to be the head of this caretaker government, the chief advisor?
I was surprised because I don't know them. I never met them. I never had any conversation with them.
Oh, wow.
So this is a message first comes to my colleagues in my organization that the students are trying to contact you. They want you to take over the responsibility. I said, ignore them. Don't get involved with this discussion. So trying to convince them that this is not happening. So next day, they themselves tried to get to me directly because it's not working with my colleagues. So they called me, explained to me. I said, no, find somebody else. I don't want to get involved. So it's 3 days of this negotiation, discussion, not negotiation. I'm trying to stay away from it. And they kept repeating and repeating.
So what made you do it then?
Finally, they narrated the situation. Look, students gave blood, sacrifices them, kids were shot dead. And so much happened, and they want you to come. Ignore all this, what happens to the country? So they were very passionate. They were trying to argue with this case. Finally, I said, okay, if you have sacrificed so much, I will change my mind and I'll see what I can do for you.
You mentioned the sacrifice and the bloodshed. In February, the UN reported that an estimated 1,400 people were killed during Hasina's crackdown on the student protests last summer. Bangladesh has now formally charged her with crimes against humanity. And of course, as you know better than me, she is in hiding in India, where she fled to under the protection of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. You've made repeated requests for her to be returned to Bangladesh. What is your response to Modi ignoring your calls to return her to Bangladesh for accountability? Do you believe that Hasina will ever be handed over by India to Bangladesh?
Given to themselves, if they are free to make a choice, probably they will keep her. If some legal obligation is there that they cannot avoid, then the situation will be different.
What's India's interest in keeping her?
They have been supporting her all along. They're still hoping, probably those who are behind her, hoping that she will come back in Bangladesh and with full glory of returning as a victorious leader.
I mean, the New York Times has reported that she is having virtual meetings with the Awami League. Does it worry you that India is going to bring her back and try and reinstall her?
I wouldn't say exactly in that words, but the possibility that some external forces will support her to come back to Bangladesh. And we are always worried about that because...
Have you spoken to Modi?
I have spoken to Modi.
What did he say when you said send her back to face justice?
Two things. First, they said, you want to keep her. I can't tell you what to do with her, but make sure she doesn't talk about us. She doesn't talk about Bangladeshi people over her.
Sorry, Modi said that to you, or you said that to her?
I told Modi about that. That please make
what did
sure
he say?
that... He said that social media I cannot control.
Since Hasina's ousting, your government has banned her former party, the Awami League, suspended their registration, effectively banned them from participating in the next elections. This was despite your fellow Nobel Prize winner, Amartya Sen, who you know very well. He warned against banning the League, saying it would simply be a repeat of the previous government's mistake, which came to office and banned their opposition. You're just repeating the cycle. What is your response to that line of criticism from Sen and others?
Liking this video? Then don't just watch, hit like, share and subscribe. And tap the bell so you never miss a video or live show. But if you want early access to exclusive content, then you have to head to zeteo.com and subscribe now. You'll be supporting fearless, independent journalism.
It's the wrong criticism because we have not banned our League.
I mean, you suspended their registration?
No, not the registration. Simply activities has been suspended.
What does that mean?
Meaning that they cannot do any political activity.
So then you have basically, I mean, they can't run for office.
No, the party is still there.
Can they run for office?
Not now, but the activities are banned.
Okay, so how is that not what Amartya Sen is warning against?
They remain valid as a party.
Okay.
So, but activities for the time being is suspended. Anytime it could be open.
You mean you could unsuspend their
Unsuspended. That's a possibility.
So you haven't banned the party, you've just said for now, you can't participate in elections.
That's right.
But how is that democratic to ban a group of people from participating in elections?
Well, that's on the election commission has decided, seeing the possibilities and the characteristics of the party that will disrupt the whole election. So they thought it's better not to.
But you wouldn't deny that they have millions of supporters in Bangladesh.
I wouldn't say millions. They have supporters, but I don't know how many are left. Because supporters is something, you're so powerful.
Yeah.
I'm always bowing to you because you're powerful. I'm not a supporter.
But you're not denying this. They do have a constituency in Bangladesh. They don't have no support.
Definitely, it's a long time.
But now those people have no voice. You've banned their party. I mean, you've prevented their party from taking part in politics.
They can vote for, as voter, they're valid voter. There are a lot of contestants. They will choose their own.
But is it helpful? I'm just wondering.
Army League level will not be there.
But is that helpful to Bangladesh to have this situation where people are saying,
otherwise,
well, the new government is cracking down on the old government, the cycle continues?
Otherwise, we cannot hold the election.
Okay.
It's this party, quote unquote, if it is a party at all, as a political party, is not behaving as a political party. They have not expressed their remorse that they have killed people. They have not taken responsibility of anything that they have done during this period. Not a word, always accusing that somebody else is responsible for that.
I do want to come back to elections in a moment, but just talking about some of the other criticisms that people from outside Bangladesh have made, I want to give you an opportunity to respond. Last November, around 30,000 Hindus in Bangladesh gathered to protest against your government, claiming there have been thousands of attacks on their community. Donald Trump even weighed in at the time, calling violence in Bangladesh barbaric, I think is the word he used. What is it going to take to get that kind of violence, and we can talk about how large or small it is, under control, or is it under control in your view?
First of all, these are fake news.
Okay.
You can't go by those fake news. Even what
I quoted Donald Trump and then you said fake news. Interesting.
Yes. Whether Donald Trump ever said anything like that,
Okay.
whether he had any knowledge of what's happening in Bangladesh right now.
You're saying it's not just exaggerated. You're saying there isn't any violence against Hindus?
Yes,
Even the New York Times reported recently about several episodes of vandalism, mob violence. Police arrested a Hindu monk last November simply for raising a Hindu flag over a Bangladeshi flag. That is happening, right? You can't deny that.
One of the specialty of India right now is fake news.
Okay.
A barrage of fake news.
No, I understand.
All kinds of that.
I understand,
So
that, but that's exaggeration.
That's exaggeration.
But I'm saying, are you saying there's no anti-Hindu violence? Oh, that's not true.
There is a normal kind of relationship that goes on. There's some conflict sometimes, some family problem, land problem, and something. You happen to be my neighbor. You are a Hindu neighbor. I'm a Muslim neighbor. We have a problem with our land demarcation. That's like two neighbors. So if you say this is Hindu-Muslim, that's not it.
But it hasn't.
So there's a common.
But your position is it hasn't increased since the revolution, even though the Times and other independent reporters are saying it has.
No, it has not increased. That I would say government is very alert on that one, because this is the one thing India is always pushing, that we are bringing pressure on.
So what is your message as the de facto prime minister, leader, whatever you want to call, chief advisor of Bangladesh, to Hindus in Bangladesh who do feel under siege? What do you say to them?
We just met before I came, because there's a big puja coming up, Durga Puja. So I met them. My message to them always when I meet them as a community group of community leaders, so that don't go back and say I'm a Hindu, so protect me. Always say I'm a citizen of this country. I'm entitled to all the protection the state is supposed to give it to me. So then you have a bigger coverage.
Okay.
All the people who are deprived of the rightful treatment from the state will be with you.
Okay.
You don't isolate yourself.
So on that note,
we belong to the same community, same people, country. So demand your rightful obligation of the state that you have to be kept safe.
okay, fair enough. On that note then, you broaden it to the wider community.
Sure.
The wider Bangladeshi community, not just Hindus or Muslims, but Bangladeshis as a whole are feeling a little bit insecure about violence, about crime.
Right.
Dozens of police officers were obviously killed in the wake of Hasina's departure. There have been several revenge attacks on people associated with the Awami League. I believe abductions have doubled. Robbery cases have reached their highest point for 6 years. A lot of the police chiefs were removed, obviously, for allegedly being close to the Awami League. With the benefit of hindsight, obviously there's chaos after a revolution.
Sure.
You come in as a caretaker. But with hindsight, do you think your government could have done a better job when it comes to law and order?
Always, anybody you have gone through your history saying you could do better. Always happens. So in that spirit, you will say do better. Imagine this is an uprising. Everything fell apart. Government left. And people who were shooting yesterday at you, today, they're doing the job as a peacekeeper. You don't know what side that guy is on, actually. So you have a kind of a period where you're totally in a kind of mess. You don't know which side, what happened, what is the reality of it. So during that period is a transition period. When it's settled down.
Has it settled down?
Of course it is.
Is crime under control in Bangladesh now, in your view?
Definitely.
Because even Bangladesh's army chief, General Waqar-uz-Zaman, said to the public earlier this year, quote, "If you cannot set aside your differences and work together, if you keep blaming and fighting each other, the independence and sovereignty of this country will be at risk." Do you worry about that?
These are nice words. Any person would say that if you fight, sovereignty will be challenged.
But this is the head of your army. He's not saying it for no reason.
I said this is a common thing. Anybody could say such a thing.
Do you agree with it? Do you agree with him?
Anybody will agree. If you fight, this is our common goal. We say, stay united.
But he's saying that because people are fighting with each other, because things are out of control.
No, not in that spirit. If you fight, He said, you are fighting. He said, which you fight?
All right. We can pass
Sure.
the language of your army chief. People can determine what he meant by that. Your interim government has been in power for a year now. You've said that elections will be held in February. It was going to be later, but you've moved it forward to February 2026.
No,
But even that.
First half of February.
First half of February, okay. But even
Because of the Ramadan.
Okay,
It's
understood.
a Ramadan.
But as you said at the start of this interview, a lot of people in Bangladesh, they want action now, not tomorrow, not 6 months from now. The critics say it's too late. 6 more months of waiting for elections is too long. People are growing restless. Why can't we have an election earlier? In Nepal, where the government was also ousted earlier this year, the interim leader has promised in Nepal to hold elections in just 6 months. Why has it taken Bangladesh, or why will it take Bangladesh 18 months to have an election?
Sure. You said people are saying why it takes so much time. There are also people who said stay 5 years, stay 10 years, stay 50 years. So the people are saying all kinds of things. You stay. Why election? Who needs an election?
Okay, but those are people who don't believe in democracy.
Absolutely.
The people who believe in democracy say, why can't we have elections sooner? What is the delay?
It's not about democracy when they say that. They talk about the good governance.
Okay.
So we want to see corruption-free governance.
Understood.
So you stay on because we don't want to get into the chaos after the election. So all I'm saying that is you gave one version, there's other version
Fair
also.
enough.
Whether which one version is stronger.
But do you want to tell our viewers today, what is the reason it's taken so long to get to elections?
Yeah.
What's the hold up?
You gave example of Nepal. Nepal is a sort of what in our term is a caretaker government, meaning that you are responsible to hold an election. So probably that's their.
Are you not a caretaker government?
We are not. We are interim government.
Okay.
We are not. Nobody defined how long we should be there.
Okay.
It's our decision how long we should be there. But we have understanding that we have 3 tasks to perform. One is reform, another is a trial, the last one is election.
Okay.
So we are going to the reform agenda. This is a big agenda.
Yes.
Because if you just hold an election, same old stuff will happen again.
Yep.
Under different name, different pictures, and so on. We need reform. If you just hold the election, same repetition, everything, because the laws, rules, procedures has remained the same.
Yes.
So one of the demand for the population, led by the students, is to reform. We don't want to keep the same old rules, same as procedures, and so on, and repeat the same thing all over again. So make sure all the roots are taken out, uprooted. So you have a different kind of structure so that this thing cannot come back. All the roads where fascism creeps in, block them so that they cannot come in. So that is our agenda. It's a big agenda. Then the trial.
Yes.
Of all the perpetrators of all the thing, which is a long procedure. So we have to set up a special court to do the trial and show the net result, what's coming out, visible result coming out of the court system, that is, they're being punished. Third one is the election. So we have to go through all these 3 processes, not just one. In Nepal, they're just holding the election.
Fair enough. In May, there were rumors about a rift between the interim government and the army, specifically General Waka, who we mentioned earlier. Not only has he called for elections to be held by December, that's what he originally wanted, but according to local media, he also opposes many of the initiatives proposed by your government, including the proposed new humanitarian corridor into Myanmar, reportedly saying only a political government elected by the people can make such decisions. Does he have a point that perhaps Bangladesh's citizens should choose their government first before the government makes big decisions?
I cannot answer for them what he had to say. There is no question of corridor. Nobody's talked about corridor. Where he picks it up from the air and talks about it. Election is not his concern. This is a concern of the government. So this is not the kind of...
But do you understand the argument that because you're the interim government, you should stick to kind of minimal, basic stuff and let the big decisions be decided by an elected government?
Nobody disputes that.
Okay.
All we said that these are the 3 things we are given to do.
Fair enough.
So we'll do that.
There are also questions about whether you were thinking of resigning this year. A lot of reporting around that with Nahid Islam, one of the key members of the student protest movement, telling BBC Bangla that you were considering stepping down. Were you?
I was a little upset because things are not happening the way it should have.
Okay.
So I was blaming everybody that, look, you brought me to get things done. And I cannot do that.
Yep.
and you're always finding ways to delay and so on. So what is the use for me to stay on? So let me resign and go. You decide how you. That was the situation.
What changed your mind? You're still here.
And everybody says, "Oh no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Then the country will be in real big trouble again. So don't do that." So everybody come back and said, "Oh, we want to get things done. If it is delayed, we'll make it sure it gets happened."
So you are the chief advisor of Bangladesh till February,
until the new government comes in,
and then you're gone.
I'm gone.
Then you're back to retired life.
No, I'm not a retired person at all.
That's true. You're very active.
I'm the
back
one,
to non-political life. Let me rephrase it.
I'm the one promoting the idea. The word retirement itself should be retired.
Oh, really?
A human being never retires.
I want to retire.
No way. You can't.
You'll
see.
That's disappointing.
Absolutely.
All right, that's a discussion for another day. Back when you have your economist hat on,
right.
We'll talk about work-life balance and retirement. Many of the student leaders who led last year's protests, they made headlines in February when they launched a new political party called the National Citizens Party. The party is led by 27-year-old Nahid Islam, who not only helped lead last year's protests, but he previously served in your interim government after Hasina's ousting. What are your views on this new party so far? Could it change Bangladeshi politics forever?
If you don't mind, I shouldn't comment on that because that will be considered as I'm saying something in favor of or against a particular political party. So I'm a biased person.
Fair enough.
I shouldn't appear as a
The only party you're willing to comment on is the Awami League.
Yes, because it's they are not in the picture.
The critics say, though, that you've already kind of blessed this new party because he's your guy. He's associated with you.
This is their assumption because he was a cabinet minister, advisor, so he's responsible. He was in the government, so I was very close. And he was one of the student leader who called me up to bring me in. So that way, that relationship remains. So people that somehow...
But you're not endorsing him?
I have not said anything about that. This is their party. They have to explain what they stand for, explain their policies and programs for future.
You are an economist. You won a Nobel Prize for your work on microfinance. You're an economist who now gets to run a country. A lot of economists, they sit in the ivory towers and they dispense advice from afar. You're getting your hands dirty. What is your economic vision for Bangladesh? I know you're not going to be there beyond February in the next government, but what would you like to see? You've had a year in office. Bangladeshi economy, a lot of people are saying the growth is slowing down. It's not doing as well as it was under Hasina. What is your economic vision for Bangladesh?
I try to explain to people, I feel that Bangladesh is a very lucky country. It has a huge population, one of the largest population in the world, 8th largest population in the world. And bulk of this population are young people. Median age is 26 years. So half the population is of the age of 26 and less. How bubbling creativity inside of that. So I said that this is all creative people. These are different kind of generation than we had before. Each generation came with their background and so on. This generation came with technology in their hand. They couldn't care less what others are doing because they are communicating with each other. They understand each other's language. They have another vision for their own. So it's a very lucky country. And see what they have already done. They rose against the government and government had to follow. And this is what they have done. They have no calculated things, no policies, no ideas how to run the country. But they said no to the government. And finally that government has to run away. Yeah. So this is the power. And they are very creative people, very young, creative people. So you give any task, they can solve that problem. This is number one. Number two, Bangladesh is a very lucky country because it has not only the land mass, it's also the access to the ocean, huge access. So we should not be thinking only about Bangladesh. We should be thinking about the region itself with the Nepal, Bhutan, and the seven sisters of India. We belong to the same economic framework. So we should be supporting each other by opening their doors for the rest of the world through the ocean gateway we have. And this is also a resource that we have the fisheries and so on coming up and access to all the marine transportations and everything else. So this is a very lucky country for that. And we can invite investments. You can produce things. It's a young Today, you are taking Bangladeshi people to come to your country to work and produce things. Tomorrow, you come here. All the people are here. Why you have to go through all this process of bringing them there, create social issues and other things? Here, you choose your people. So you can relocate for the whole region and also for the whole world. This will be the hub for production.
Sheikh Hasina had a lot of problems, a lot of issues with her government, but a lot of foreign observers acknowledged that the economy was doing well on her watch, that there was growth, that there was poverty reduction. Would you acknowledge that from an independent point of view? Put aside what you think of her.
No.
The Bangladeshi economy was growing well in recent years.
All the information that you get under Hasina regime are fake.
Okay.
Cooked up.
So you don't believe the economy is improving on her watch?
Not I don't believe, you don't believe it too.
Okay.
Don't take it, because she could create anything she wants. Nobody could contest. If they say we are...
So have you fixed all those cooked statistics?
We are trying. This is how we get to the hard reality of the situation.
The other thing, obviously, she was heavily criticized for was her crackdown on free press, protest, political movements. She was very brutal. People look, after a revolution, you know this, throughout history, one government is brought down, the post-revolution government comes in, and after a few years, people say they're the same as the old government. Right. They're doing the same thing, power's gone to their head. People have criticized you and your interim government for using the anti-terror law to crack down on the media, on journalists in Bangladesh, on free speech. What do you say to people who say that you're going down a dangerous road when it comes to free speech in Bangladesh?
First of all, I'll say, if you think that the next government gradually goes back to the same old situation, that's why I want to give the election. So stop there. So you can't deteriorate anymore.
But it's not just about elections. It's about using anti-terror laws and other authoritarian laws to repress people.
Whatever happens, that distinguishes that you are surrendering the power to the new government. So there's an end to it. If you know that there's an end to it, you will not be doing all the things that you're doing. You do things because you want to continue.
Yes.
The more you want to continue, grab them.
Yeah.
And all this information that I think Bangladesh is the most free in the press freedom, anything that you can have, because we want to have idealistic rules, procedures for
so why not get rid of this anti-terror law that she abused, that now people are saying your government's using as well?
We have no anti-terror rule like the one that Hasina did. We do it as protecting the basic values of democracy and human rights and everything. So we are very good at that.
You don't think there needs to be more done to protect the free press in Bangladesh as you reform the country?
We have the freest press you can get. We are under attack every 124 hours a day.
Okay.
We don't have any media which is protecting us, not the media that we have funded or we have established to protect us.
Just returning to the economy before I forget, as a country that does a lot of export, garment industry, very crucial to your country. Here we are in the West, which relies a lot on Bangladeshi garments. Donald Trump's tariffs, how much do they worry you as an economist?
We are very happy the way it went, the negotiation, the tariff negotiation.
I think it's 20%?
20%, yes. So
still high.
It's not as high as we were worried about. So
India got much higher.
Much higher. So I was even saying that probably very soon Indian industries will come and set up their industries in Bangladesh because it's so much cheaper here to produce and send. So this becomes an attractive place for production.
How did you get 20%? What's your relationship like with Donald Trump?
Well, we made our case, what it is. We are very committed to make sure the trade gap goes down completely so that Americans were very worried about the trade gap. So we want to fulfill that.
Just on foreign affairs before we wrap up. This summer, you announced that Bangladesh officially does not have the resources to continue supporting the 1.3 million Rohingya refugees who escaped the genocide in Myanmar. You have urged the international community to help Bangladesh look for a more long-term sustainable solution. What does that solution look like to you? I know you were here attending a conference at the UN as well in New York. What is the long-term solution for the Rohingya?
Go back to home.
Easier said than done.
No. In their words, let me repeat what Secretary General of the United Nations, he came to visit Rohingya camp during last Ramadan, and he fasted for the day, just like everybody in Bangladesh. He came to the camp, he took me with him, and nearly 50,000 Rohingya refugees were surrounding him, the hills and so on. And there he promised that his goal will be to make sure that they can go back to their countries. And in my speech, I told them, this is the Ramadan, soon Eid will come. And this year you have to do the Eid here. But the next year when Eid comes, hopefully you'll be celebrating Eid at your home.
No, we all hope that. But practically, if Myanmar is not safe for them, if Burma is not safe for them...
It's important hope. Because nobody ever talked about going back.
I understand.
They always keep them, how to maintain.
No, I understand. We agree they should be able to go back.
Absolutely.
But would you send them back if you still think, if you're being told that they're not safe there, that they will be killed?
No, we're not pushing them back.
Okay.
We said the political situation has to be created in such a way they are safe to go home and live their life. They said, we're not beggars here to be dependent on other people. We are farmers, we have our animals, we have our land, we are professional people, we are doctors, we are engineers, we are teachers. We're all here. All we want to do, go home and do our thing. We don't want to be a burden on anybody.
Yeah.
So this is our...
But that requires the conditions to be there.
That's why we're holding the meeting here. We are holding the meeting there and negotiating with everybody that
and directly with the Myanmar government?
Yes, we're in contact with Myanmar government too.
When I spoke to you 8 years ago, you were very critical of Aung San Suu Kyi, your fellow Nobel Peace Laureate who was in charge of Myanmar at the time. She no longer is. She wasn't very sympathetic
for this
to the
very
Rohingya.
reason. For this reason. Yeah.
On the subject of Nobel Peace Prizes, Donald Trump spoke at the UN today. I'm not sure if you caught any of his speech, but once again, he talked about the Nobel Peace Prize. He's obsessed with it. He keeps pointing to all these wars he claims to have stopped. He said today, everybody thinks I should have a Nobel Peace Prize. You're a Nobel Peace Laureate. Do you think Donald Trump should have a Nobel Peace Prize?
Well, let this be subject of the Nobel Committee. Let them decide what they want.
Good answer, diplomatic answer. Although you probably could have got the tariffs down to 10% if you'd said yes. One last question, just on Gaza. Back in 2021, Hasina's government removed the line that was in Bangladeshi passports that said, this passport is valid for all countries of the world except Israel. That used to be in the Bangladeshi passport.
That's right.
Her government took it out. Earlier this year, your government put that line back in. What is the message you're trying to send with that? Are you trying to say to Israel, we don't want our people going to your country?
Hasina government, when they did it, entire Bangladesh was opposed to it. Nobody liked that. Nobody wants to have that kind of openness, that we have not recognized Israel and we don't want to bring them back again into our passport to visit. So first thing we did to restore that, because that's the will of the people.
As a Nobel Peace Laureate, what do you make of what is happening in Gaza right now?
Terrible. You don't have to be Nobel laureate to do that. As a human being,
it's a genocide?
You can say that, yeah.
And what do you think could be done to stop it?
Whole world should get together. I mean, it's such a terrible thing happening right in front of everybody's eyes. And we just keep quiet. We see it on the screen every day, what is happening. How the children are dying and being bombed, and people are running around to find a small amount of food. Food is coming, you cannot get to the food. It's a shame for the whole world that such a thing we have to see and can't do anything about it.
It is indeed shameful. One last question to you, just to give you a chance to say it. Obviously, as I say, there have been some criticisms of things you've done. What do you believe is the single most important thing you have done over the past year? What achievement are you most proud of as chief advisor of Bangladesh?
I think the best thing that we could do, we have restored faith in our nationhood, that we are an independent country. We can decide our own. We are not being pushed around by anybody. And we have a long way to go and we can make it. We have the ability to do that. That confidence has come back. That self-respect has come back. And that sense of independence in the mind of people came back.
Do you think other countries can learn from what the students achieved in Bangladesh last year?
I think they should, because what Bangladesh has done is unique in the history. You have lots of other revolutions. This is nothing to do with those other revolutions. This is something happened autonomously. The young people got together. They didn't know where they're going. But each day, they inched into that. And finally say, that's enough. Only one condition. You leave. That's it. We have no other condition. That's it. You leave the country. You hand over the country, we don't want you anymore. Just one day. And that day she has to flee.
She did. She's in India, as we discussed. On that note, Muhammad Yunus, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Did you like this video? Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on notifications. For exclusive content and to support our independent, unfiltered journalism, head over to zeteo.com. Your support matters.